you waiting for me to start talking?
I was just looking at the screen and how your head looks giant compared to mine because you're closer to the screen.
What's wrong with you? Oh my God. All right. So we're here just to give an update on where we are at.
It's Orlando. Bye.
And how did we get here? Because I think the last video we
Drove.
did was...
Bye.
We actually flew too. Because the last video we did, we were in Jamaica. Did we drive from Jamaica to the States? Or is there an Orlando in Jamaica that I don't know about?
There's a lot of things in Jamaica you don't know.
Shut up.
I've learned so much about Jamaica that you really should learn, honey.
But yeah, do you want to kick us off? I think the last thing that we probably told you guys is that we were headed to the German embassy in Jamaica. We may have told you guys about that, but
we went to the German embassy to speak to the Italians. They team up regarding embassies in smaller countries, and that was an interesting thing to learn. So the German embassy in Kingston handles all the Italian business. So that was fun. The outcome wasn't super fun for us because they told us you must be in Jamaica minimum of 6 months continuous before we'll consider submitting the documents. So they didn't turn us down. They didn't deny Chanel's Schengen multiple entry visa on paper. They just said, don't submit this. So that was kind of them to do that. But she wasn't qualified according to that standard and has no plans on qualifying. So that was kind of difficult for us to realize.
yeah, and I think what was really interesting for me, because I got the news and I remember feeling so down about it, and I was asking the Lord, so Lord, why did you allow us to even go walk that path? Like, if you know this was going to be the outcome, why? I mean, because the thing about me being in Jamaica, not being in Jamaica for like 6 months, being why I shouldn't apply, it's not because of my own doing that I wasn't in Jamaica for 6 months. I have been all over the place for the last, 2-3 years, because that's where God leads me to.
Explicitly, right? Specifically, like, because God said, be here, be
go
here,
there,
be here.
Go there, go there. And so it was so interesting for me to, be able to say, okay, they're saying don't apply. And the reason why they're saying don't apply is because of my obedience to something else that God had told me to do. And so having to wrap my mind around that, and it's not even a worse, it's just like, God, I'm so curious here. Like, what are you doing? Right? Because I think you normally hear the stories of, oh, God directs me there, and it's a yes. It's never a don't do it. Right? And so it was just a reminder for me that not every single time where God directs us somewhere, sometimes favor doesn't look like a yes. Sometimes favor is a no, or you can't, right?
Or just something that we're not aware of.
Yeah. And then it's really interesting is that later down, like probably a week or so after that, we were sitting down, Lord, what are we going to do? Because we have this desire to go to Italy, right? And he reminded us of the digital nomad visa that we had looked on in like January. When did we look at it? It was like probably August of last year or something like that. And we had immediately said, no, we don't meet the requirements for it. And he sent us back to look at it and then said to us, you want to be in Italy for a year. That's your true desire, right?
If we had done things through, for Chanel, through Kingston, through the German embassy, all that would have been for a 90-day Schengen multiple entry visa.
Yeah.
Whereas the digital nomad visa satisfies our actual desire of using Italy as a home base and bopping around the EU a little bit and exploring peacefully, slowly, for a much longer time period. 90 days would have felt like a whirlwind.
Yeah, and I mean that's our true desire. It's something that Jeremy and I had like a passion. Like I have been wanting to go to Europe, like forever, but I keep saying, I don't want to do it alone. I wanted to do it with my husband. And Jeremy has that desire to go to Europe and spend time exploring, right?
And I'm her husband.
And he happens to be my husband, so it kind of like works out, And so it's kind of like, okay, we've been saving our honeymoon for Europe. I'm looking forward to that, right? But so that happened, and then I think the next big thing, I think we would have told you guys about our trip to Montego Bay and how lovely that was. We got to spend some time with my mom. We got to spend some time with friends. We got to see Steve Wright in Jamaica and got to spend some time at his mom's house in St. Anne, where she was the only one. Well, we can't say the only one. She had power. A lot of her neighbors didn't.
Oh.
From the hurricane.
She had solar and yeah.
And that was such a lovely experience. I think that was the first time in Jamaica I took so many buses in one go, like one behind the other, like public transportation. That was so weird for me. I kept thinking, Jeremy, it was how many public trans? It was like 5 because we took something from St. Anne, Steve's mom's house, to St. Anne's.
We took a taxi to Brownstown, and then we took a bus from Brownstown to a minibus to Ocho Rios.
Yeah.
And then another, I guess, a van.
Yeah.
Like a minivan down from Ochi to Kingston.
No,
all the way to Spanish Town. Okay.
And then from
Spanish Town we took a city bus or a regional bus to Old Harbor.
We call it a coaster bus.
A coaster bus?
Yes.
Okay. And then from there we got a taxi.
So he is officially Jamaicanized. The only thing he did not take was a JUTC bus, which is a government public bus is. But that in itself was an experience. That was in itself was an experience for us because coming back we did not have enough cash, I think.
Yeah, we were out of Jamaican dollars. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, and it so happened that Steve's mom was kind enough as we're getting on the bus, because we were trying to get an Uber because then we could use our cards and everything.
Right.
And no Uber, and Steve's mom was kind enough to give us some money, and I think she was going to give us a certain amount because she was trying to get change and no change.
I don't remember.
But
it was the perfect
ended
amount.
up giving us the full amount, and it was the right amount that we needed to get to our house.
Like down to about 20 cents USD. It was the right amount. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was such a blessing to see God looking out for us, because we knew we were supposed to visit Steve in St. Anne's Bay. But we got an Uber to take us from our house, not from our house, from Kingston to
going up was no problem, but we could not find any Ubers on the way back. The city was too small. There had just been a cruise ship that docked, and so all the people who were accustomed to using Uber were already using it.
And baby,
they kept canceling.
I'm thinking about it too. Like, there's a testimony behind that, because we had rented a car to go down to Brownstown to St. Anne to visit Steve.
Yeah, they canceled.
And oh my, like they canceled it the day, like the day we were supposed to pick up. We got a call at like after 9 from the agency saying, we paid the money and everything. Got a call from them to say, there's a possibility that they may not have a car to give us. She calls me back. I'm like, okay, when will you know? And she calls me back. She says, by about after 12, I'll call you. She calls me back at after 12 to say, well, the person who was using the car extended their lease on the car.
Like we did later on in Orlando.
Yeah, and so it was no longer available to us, and so we're like, God, okay, what do we do here? And immediately my mind went into Chanel do it mode. Let's figure out all the plans and so forth around this. And I started texting friends that I knew. I started reaching out to all of these places, Googling and everything. And I mean, it was so stressful. Yes, please. And nothing worked out. Nothing worked out at all. And I remember being frustrated because I'm like, God, if you're with us, around this, why does this door feel so tightly shut? And
We had done what we needed to do
yeah,
to get to Steve and to get up there.
yeah, I mean, we were
was
in
frustrating because of
Kingston.
that.
Even being in Kingston at the time was God orchestrating us being in Kingston. And so it was kind of like this confusion about what God, why? And I remember he showed me my pattern of behavior when we found out about the car not being available, and how I went into hyper planning mode, like, okay, here are all the plans around getting this thing done.
It was just regular planning
Right?
mode.
Well, shh. Right? And he showed me that behavior, and it got so bad, I think, to the point where I was all up in my head. I started to feel like I was alone because I'm trying to figure this thing out, and I stopped communicating with Jeremy, etc. And he spoke to me about that, like to show me that, hey, that's not how I created you. I designed you to operate, right?
But if you choose to be alone, you get to be alone. Yeah.
Right?
Was that the night we saw Auntie Sharon the first time?
The first night.
We were on our way up there? Okay,
So
yeah.
that was when we came down to, we spent 9 hours, like, yes. And Sharon, big up to you, we love you. And thing. But I think if I remember correctly, is from that he said to me, there's a reason why he has closed that door. Look at the only door that's open. Stop trying to force the other doors open. And when we looked around, we realized, oh, we kept saying that it would be too expensive to do an Uber or Lyft to get to Brownstone, to get to St. Anne. But that was the only door that was open. And when we actually took a closer look at it, and that's something as he keeps doing a lot with us, like, we think we know what the price is gonna be for something, and he's like, you haven't looked, or what do you want? We took a closer look at it. We were able to get an Uber to take us all the way to Brownstone, to St. Anne, to Steve's door. What was it, less than the cost? I don't know.
I don't remember the cost of the Uber by itself with Ricardo, but I remember that the cost of the entire trip ended up being about, it's like $60 or $120 less than if we had rented and bought gas and all that stuff. So the Uber up plus the vans and buses and taxis back down were far cheaper.
Yeah, and I mean, even on top of that,
It was like 2/3 the price.
I think the night before we had a fallout. The night before we were supposed to go to Brownstone, and the thing about it is, on the way down, the Lord said to me, he knew that would happen, and he knew that if we were in a rented car, we would not have felt the need to talk to each other at all. Right? But he's like, with a third party in that car, there's no way we could not, the chance for reconciliation was there. And we took it, right? And so by the time we got to St. Anne, we were okay again for the most part.
It took a bit longer.
Yeah, but we weren't at odds anymore. We still had things to talk through and so forth, but it wasn't the same tension as the night before.
You don't remember the little dirt road that the Uber driver turned onto where y'all were arguing with me about this is the way. I'm like, no. That was pretty tense for me. Maybe not for y'all.
It turns out that Jeremy is better at directions than I am, which is quite okay. Hold on to decline that. All right. So I mean, I think that was. So we come back from Saint Anne. What happened?
On the way up, do you remember? Did God ever show you why He told you that we would break down?
Oh no, I don't remember.
But He did tell you.
He did.
Yeah.
Alright. So no, I never learned why he told me. What Jeremy is referring to here is when we're on our way down to Brownstown, at some point in the journey, Laura said to me, the car is gonna break down. And I was like, okay, weird, cool. And the car did eventually, what was it? It was overheated and broke down. It broke down on the highway, and we had to stop for like a couple minutes, like about 15 minutes or so.
Probably 15 minutes, yeah.
Before we could continue. But no, I never knew
The driver
why.
needed to pour some water on it and to just wait for a bit.
Yeah. So I think that was our Brownstone trip. Like, okay, I don't even know why he told me, but okay.
I think it was just to give you peace, if you never learned why.
Yeah.
So that you wouldn't worry about getting there or anything like that.
Yeah, maybe it could have been that. I have no idea. But given the fact that I was already anxious about all of these modes of transport not working out, I could see where it could have been. Child, it's gonna break down. Like, don't let this surprise you. Kind of thing. But after that, what did we do? So we talked about Saint Anne, going to Saint Anne, coming back. I think the next big thing was a week later we were supposed to be leaving for the States. And then that's when things got pretty interesting because we missed our flight.
So we had seen Auntie Sharon Grant on our way to Brownstown. We stayed with her the night before we left, and we were supposed to get our rental car that day and then drive to her place and then drive to Brownstown. And the rental car company decided, no car. So how did we get to her place? Did she come pick us up?
And that's actually another story to tell too, because we knew we were supposed to be in Kingston that Friday.
This would have been the 18th or the 19th, I believe, of December.
And I had thought, we could stay with Auntie Sharon. And then when I called her to say, hey, we're coming on this date, she said to me, she is actually fully booked through.
She owns an Airbnb.
Yeah. And so she owns a couple Airbnbs.
Sure.
And so it was kind of like, all right, Lord, we don't know what we're supposed to be doing here. We already had arranged with Michelle, because Michelle was going into Kingston that day. Michelle lives in Portmore, which is about half an hour from where we are, to meet her and go into Kingston with her. Michelle is an amazing baker, by the way. We probably should link to her Creations by Shell. Amazing. But we had that rough plan. We didn't know where we were going to stay, but we know we're going to Kingston. And the Thursday morning, Michelle, I think she called me to let me know, hey, I'm arranging for someone to take you into Kingston. My immediate thought was, we're still meeting at her house, but instead of going with her, maybe her car full or whatever, we're meeting at her house, and this person will be going into Kingston with. I said to her, all right, cool. A couple minutes after that, probably like an hour, Auntie Sharon calls me, and she's like, what have you sorted out your plans for tomorrow yet? I'm like, no, I just know we're going into Kingston. we haven't. We're leaving God to tell us where to stay or what to do around that, etc. And she says to me, you're not going to believe it, but there was somebody that was scheduled, like they have been in back and forth conversation for a bit, and was scheduled to be at her Airbnb through to the night of the 18th. I think that was it, through to the night of the 19th, which is a night that we were hoping to stay by her. And they had reached out to her the morning of the 18th.
It was very short notice.
To let her know that they were going to have to cut their visit short. They wouldn't be able to do the total number of nights that they were expecting. And so she said that I had to call you immediately, because if you're coming into Kingston, you now have a place. You all now have a place to stay, right? But the story doesn't end there. So we now have a place to stay in Kingston. We now know how we're getting in, but we're already thinking, okay, we need to get our taxi driver to take us from Old Harbor, where the house was, to Portmore to meet with Michelle's friend to go into Kingston. I'm trying to remember, but probably about after 1 or something in the morning, I am awake and there's a message from Michelle, and I said to her, I'm looking forward to see, we already just letting her know that, hey, we already have plans in place to meet you at this time, and she said, this time, XYZ time. She said to me, what are you talking about? And I said to her, but aren't we meeting you at your house to go into Kingston with a person? And she said, why would I do that? She said, the person literally lives in Old Harbor. The person I've arranged to take you in lives in Old Harbor. They are coming to get you. She's like, all you need to do is just call them to sort out like address and so forth, and then that will be all right. And so literally we knew we were supposed to be in Kingston that day, and the Lord arranged every single thing. I mean, even
we got to minister to Radane.
Yeah, Radane
Michelle's
is awesome.
friend.
Awesome.
And then to Michelle. And we got to see Auntie Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to
spend time with Marcel the Friday.
Oh, that was the same time frame?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
one of the
really
big
great.
reasons why
Yeah.
we wanted to go to Kingston, because
Yeah.
it was like our last opportunity to like see Marcel.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
And that's where you got to have sorrel, Jamaican sorrel for the second time? I don't remember.
First time I had it there and at Steve's mom,
Okay.
Mrs. Wright's place.
Yeah. And so you got to have Jamaican sorrel. I think you had Christmas cake too for the first time there at Marcel's mom's. Auntie Pat? No?
That wasn't Christmas cake. That was something.
Oh, that
else.
was birthday cake.
Yeah, that was just regular
That
cake.
was that.
I had the Christmas cake before that.
Yeah.
So we got to see a lot of people there and minister to and be ministered to by a lot of people unexpectedly.
Yeah, meeting
including
Radine,
Ricardo, the Uber driver.
the Uber driver. Meeting Radine was very encouraging. Hi Radine, love you, and thank you again. All right, so now we gear up. We're back from Brownstown, St. Anne, and we are preparing to leave.
Which God hooked us up in Brownstown perfectly, the way that we needed to. We got to see Steve Wright in person, and he's my other coach inside the community that I run, the Voyage. And so that was really wonderful to get to see him in person, and his mom, Auntie Claire,
and his daughter
whose
Danielle.
parrot says, Auntie Claire! Auntie Claire!
I forgot about that. That was fun. And the dog who's in everything.
And Steve's daughter. What a beautiful place, and what hospitable people, and just what a wonderful time.
Yeah, Auntie Claire wanted to fatten us up. Like, She's just always feeding us. It's also awesome.
She was pretty great.
Yeah. So we get back from Brownstown, and
We mentioned the 5 transfers. Right?
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
All right. So it's now.
That was pretty fun in itself.
It's now on to okay. Our plans around having a car had changed, and so we were planning to Uber to the airport, and alongside taking a longer time to pack than we thought, we started trying to get an Uber, and struggling to get the Uber, like couldn't get any, and then they started canceling, like they would accept the ride and then cancel, if I remember correctly.
Close. It was just Uber kept. It was after the first. We were on time until the first taxi dropped us off. Once we got to Spanish Town, which is a much bigger town than Old Harbor, we thought we'd be okay. Like, you can find Ubers once you get into Spanish Town, but not this time. Nobody would accept the ride, or it was a busy time or something like that, and so it tried for 4 different cycles, and Kamala was getting more and more antsy.
Oh yeah.
And said, "Take my car, take my car."
Kamal
And I
is
said, "I'm not taking your car."
Kamala is my sister, and I think a little backstory there, because the reason why we went into Spanish Town was the morning I was getting ready, I was packing up, and the Lord said to me, "Call your sister," and I called her, and in the process of talking to her, I was reminded, oh, I have 2 things for her that I don't want to take back to the States with me. And so we talked, and we said, all right, we have enough time. We can drop them off in Spanish Town to her, right? And so that's how we ended up in Spanish Town with the closing window on time. And then that happened. So Kamala was like, yeah, take my car, and then you would.
Yeah, but we couldn't get a taxi or Uber or InDrive all the way into Kingston anyway from where we were. We tried, and the best we could do was get somebody to drop us in Spanish Town. So that part worked out. And so anyway, just
we could have used InDrive,
6 minutes past too late. Kamala said, "That's it. I'm taking you. Get in the car." And so
we will not be telling tales of how fast my sister drove.
She was quite reasonable. Quite reasonable. She did what needed to be done. But we missed the boarding time by 5 minutes.
But before we even get there, honey, I think one thing that I want, like, God is so intentional about things, because
That's after.
No, before we get there, like, I know there's someone after, but before we get there, there's one thing I want to acknowledge, that God is so intentional about things, because one of the things that he was talking to me a lot about in that season was how I related to time. I would always say, I don't have a problem being
I don't have a problem. I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah, there's that. But I don't have a problem with other people being late. But when it came down, what I didn't acknowledge was that when it came down to being late, there were so many people-pleasing things going on in my head around that. And it would literally push me into anxiety and trying to control everything and getting upset and everything. And God kept putting me into situations in that season where I was late
There were
and
a lot.
it wasn't within my control.
Yeah.
And so even that drive was recognizing, oh, I'm going to be late. I would have been okay if I was able to check in, because you were able to check in.
Right.
And I couldn't, and I mean, I've been on flights where I'm actually late for boarding, and they allow me to go through because I've checked in, right? They just put my bag in, and all right, you have a bag tag your bag, and then send it through.
But because she has the 2 passports,
Yeah.
one with the U.S. visa stamped in it, and one that's the new unexpired passport, the system wouldn't accept it for online check-in.
Yeah.
And so we had to be there very on time, and missing 4 Uber cycles in a row. We'll get you your driver within 8 minutes.
No,
4
it
times.
won't.
That'll ruin any time frame.
But I remember when we're about 10 minutes out,
So about 70 miles away.
Probably about that. You know me and distance. I have no idea. You're
I
trolling
was just
me.
describing a very fast driving speed, that's all.
But realizing, accepting, Lord, I know we're gonna miss this flight, and figuring a way of peace settle over me around missing the flight. And that was kind of like, and so even my sister, my awesome sister, got us there. I went into that airport knowing, yeah, we're not getting on that plane.
Sure.
And being absolutely okay with it. And I feel like it was one of the first times in my life that I was late for something and I wasn't like going mental by that point.
Not only are you late for something, you're late for a totally non-refundable, like, oh no, the tickets were transferable type tickets, but we're late due to no fault that the airline would recognize. Yeah. And for an international flight to get back to my parents' place for Christmas. So, yeah.
So we're late and went up to the counter and the lady is like, I'm like, I don't know if you can help us. And she's like, nope, I can't. Nope. Pick up. Yep. But she was kind enough to like
she rebooked us
for the next day. And now it was the big question, all right, Lord, where are we going to stay while we're here? Because we had no plans to be in Kingston.
Yeah.
And again, I got that nudge, call Auntie Sharon. And when I called her, she said to me, she's not sure because she's supposed to be fully booked out. And then she said, wait, let me check something and call you back.
So it turns out that we stayed with her and we had a delightful
Somebody
and
canceled
lovely.
Again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I to share at this point, by the second time this happened, somebody canceled at the last minute again on her. And this is not, she said, this is not something that has happened to her.
We had to apologize to her
for
God working on our behalf.
Yeah.
But she said it was worth it.
Yeah,
we really, really enjoyed each other. Yeah. We needed that extra day with her. It was wonderful.
And I think she needed that extra day with us too. And so it was so beautiful spending the time with her, getting to eat and laugh and talk and encourage each other and all of that stuff. And we left Jamaica the next morning. We were on time for our flight. It was.
She took us back in at 4 a.m. I think it was. It was pretty early.
Yeah, and we got on the flight. We had a layover in Miami, I think I don't remember how long we had that layover, but we got to Miami about after 11.
It was a very long layover again.
Yeah.
It was probably a 6 or 7 hour layover. And
we got to Atlanta after 7.
It was nice. I asked if there were any. I said, would it be crazy to ask if there are any upgrades available for my seat? And the lady said, "Yep, that would be crazy." So Chanel actually switched her seat from the business class back to the economy where I was because I got bumped on that. We had booked. I think last time we told the story about how it was just as cheap to do business class or first class with the luggage, with 2 legs and luggage for each leg. That worked out really nicely, and the Admiral's Lounge there in Miami. And so we did get them to bump us back into that. And so that was really nice because that changed the entire experience of a long layover. It changes the exhaustion of being in an airport all day into a very pleasant experience where you can actually get work done. And
Get some sleep.
if you snag the right chairs, we weren't able to on the way down, but we were able to on the way back. That you can actually get some sleep. There's some nap chairs off in a secluded area, so
Not
it
forget
was
the food.
delightful. Yep. And there's good free food included, so it makes it easy.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of favor right there.
Until we got to Atlanta, I think like after 7.
No,
It was.
Miami was customs, right?
Oh yeah.
So
We forgot that.
we got into Miami at Immigration and Customs, and we split apart.
And we met Elizabeth too.
We got to see Elizabeth.
Oh
Yes.
Oh my God, she is.
She's our favorite bag lady.
Elizabeth, like, I feel teary just hearing
Her name.
her name.
Yourself say her name. Yeah. Elizabeth was wonderful.
Has a heart of gold.
I say
tell
bag lady,
you.
but she is the lost luggage, one of the lost luggage coordinators for American, and she's in Miami, and we got to meet her in person,
Yeah.
and that was really exciting. We just hung out right outside the
And
whatever area.
The funny thing about it too is if we had gotten the flight, if we hadn't missed our flight, we wouldn't have gotten to meet her.
That's a great
because
point.
she had actually left.
Yep.
When I messaged her to tell her that, hey, we're coming in at this time, at XYZ time, she was saying to me, oh no, I'm not able to do that time. I've already left for home.
Yep.
And so with yay for flight changes, we got to meet Elizabeth, and she was just so heartwarming. Like, Elizabeth is a treasure.
Yeah.
And a treasure for the kingdom. It was just
Yep.
such kindness. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got to meet her and experience her and just had a long chat with a bunch of hugs and laughter and everything. Elizabeth, you're a blessing. Thank you. Really, really thank you.
Tremendously.
I forgot that we got to meet her.
Yeah. And we didn't lose our bags this time
We
around.
didn't.
Yep. That was nice too.
We
lost them the first time around, so we got to meet Elizabeth. And the second time around, we kept them and still got to meet Elizabeth. So it was wonderful. So we got to Immigration and Customs and split up right at the sign that says $300 fine for bringing any agricultural or food products through here. And we thought about the frozen ackee in the bags, and I said, do you want me to carry them or do you want to? She said, I'm fine. If it's a fine, it's a fine anyway. Ackee is an agricultural product that is native to Jamaica and that is not native to the U.S.
It is frozen though, so it wasn't on
Yeah.
any plant or anything.
Right.
It was cleaned and picked and all that stuff.
So she took it through, and I went through Immigration, and it was the fastest I've ever seen. There was no line, and so I just ducked under all the things and walked right up to the guy, and he said, answer a couple questions for me while you look at the camera. And I did, and he said, thank you, Mr. Pope. Have a nice day. And I hadn't given him my ID. So I was like, ugh, definitely in the system, all right. But it made it very smooth. And then met up with Chanel, and turns out.
And then from my experience, I know one of the things is we had a worry. We were worried about, will I be able to...
We weren't worried at that point. It was just wondering. Was what it was, because we'd already had the experience so many times of just go through completely candid, completely transparent, completely honest. Don't try and game any kind of system. Don't try and engineer your answers in any kind of way. And he'd already given us that direction twice before with the German embassy and with the U.S. Customs the first time she was in the country.
Yeah, U.S. immigration, not
U.S.
customs.
immigration, yeah, thank you.
All right, but
So she came in and did the same thing
I had a
again.
joyful experience with the guy.
Yeah.
Right? They asked the typical questions and so forth. And he didn't ask me a bunch of things. It was kind of like, okay, why are you, what's the purpose of your visit? I'm like, okay, I'm here with my husband to see our family and so forth. And he's like, so your husband American? I'm like, yeah. And then we laughed and we chatted, and I even got to show him what Aki was like. Pull up on my phone, like, oh, you have never heard of Aki? Let me show you, and let me recommend that you one day try it. And by the time I walked away, even his colleagues around me were joining in on the conversation, and he was committing to trying Aki, even though his colleagues were like, "No, you ain't gonna try it." But it was such a pleasant experience.
I have never had a travel experience where every single person along the way was delightful and delighted to see me as well. But that was it this time around. It was fascinating. It was such kind and cheerful and excited to talk to us people. It was really wild.
Yeah. And so we had that experience. We met up back. We did our layover. We got on the plane to Atlanta. And we got to Atlanta like after 7. Was it the day before Christmas Eve, right? It was the 23rd.
That sounds right.
Yeah, the 23rd. And then from there, we picked up the rental car. And we drove to Mom and Dad's. And we got in at after 12? Or was it after 1?
I think it was 1 or 2 a.m.
Well, Jeremy drove. I slept. I have no shame. And then we got to spend really delightful Christmas with family.
They have names, you know.
Yeah. Mom and Dad. Do you want me to list
I won't do
them
that
all?
to you. No. But we got to see the entire family in shifts as they came in and left for their own holiday type schedule stuff.
Yeah, and
so we didn't have all the family together at once for Christmas, but everybody did come through while we were there, so we got to see everybody. It was fantastic.
And I got to have my first American Christmas where I even got a stocking.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm now officially in the family because I got a stocking, guys.
Yep.
I'm just saying. That was so... And I got to experience all the Pope traditions. They have a whole lot. Well, we have a whole lot because it's no longer there. You're all stuck with me.
What traditions? So the traditions that I think about are food traditions.
The pig in the blanket tradition.
Pigs in the blankets and orange Danish are the traditional Christmas brunch.
Yeah, and then you guys have
big meal the night before, where Mom really overdoes everything on the menu, and the big Christmas Eve dinner that used to be an extended family dinner and now is not so extended but still
it's
giant
good.
menu. Yeah,
Mom is a great cook.
Oh yeah, it's a highlight.
I got to share Jamaican Christmas cake with persons. They got to try ackee and saltfish for the first time.
Yep. We all agree it tastes a little bit like scrambled eggs.
There was Christmas morning with the gifts and all of that, and the joy around that, the big Christmas tree, and just the family time. I think it was lovely.
Yeah, it was.
We
left there.
Before we get to left there, because around this time we were praying for like a date at the Italian embassy, because I think the last time, the last video we mentioned that, the date that we have is like March 6th.
So the process for setting a date with the Italian consulate in Miami is you set any old appointment for the digital nomad visa. You set any old appointment, and then you log in twice a day at noon and midnight Italian time, cancel your appointment, Not just slightly,
us.
not just slightly cancel it, all the way cancel it, and then rebook from scratch, which is a process that takes maybe 4 minutes, 3 minutes once you've memorized the forms and your fingers, like let your fingers do the walking sort of thing. But it's still like as your date approaches, they're booked. The first appointment that I could book was March 2nd.
March
And
6th,
so
I think.
March 2nd.
Okay, maybe I got it wrong.
March 6th was the date you came back from St. Kitts last year.
Really?
Yeah.
High five,
So-
honey, because I did not remember that.
So we had a date picked out, but log in twice a day. I did that 3 times, and I was like, all these dates. I mean, there are plenty of dates that are like right now, but we can't make it down there right now. We don't want to.
We saw a date for the 16th of December.
Right,
Which was
was before we left Jamaica, so we can't do that. So we have to have something that is either in Miami on the day we're laid over in Miami, on the 22nd or 3rd, yeah. Or we have to have it at the end of our stay in Barwick so that we can go back down to Miami. And so after 3 times of doing that, I felt God say, you don't have to do this every time. All you need is the once. I'm like, oh, right, okay. So I'll start checking again. I'll start checking the website again, canceling and rebooking when you tell me to, Lord. And so I did that a couple times and they only open up 3 days in advance, because that's when the Italian consulate auto cancels everyone that hasn't confirmed between day 10 and day 3 away from your appointment. Day T minus 10 and day T minus 3. So you don't get much heads up on that. So I got, it was on the 6th of January that I got an appointment booked for the 9th of January.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, Mom, okay, Dad, we're out of here. On the 8th.
And I think we had in mind that we were planning to leave by about the 8th.
Oh yeah, we booked it for the
for
time
January.
that we were leaving Mom and Dad's place anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
So it
what
worked out
was
perfectly.
really interesting was, I don't remember what day it was, but one day I just you got up and you said, I'm going to check the Italian website. I'm like, well, I guess God told him to start, because he told me he's not checking. You're not checking. You told me that you're not checking it anymore until God says.
Right.
And literally, I think a day after, you're like, oh yeah, we have a date. We're heading in, and so it became like this hustle bustle of. I think we had actually started putting together the paperwork before then, but we hadn't narrowed in to get it done.
There was a lot more paperwork to do still.
Yeah, and so it was a whole lot of paperwork.
Visas are invasive processes. And there's a lot of work to be done for it.
Lot of paperwork to put together, and we left on January 8th.
Yeah.
We drove down to, Dad drove us to
Enterprise in Valdosta.
Hertz. It's Hertz.
Was it?
Yeah. We did Hertz.
In Valdosta?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. Okay, so Enterprise, because Valdosta instead of Thomasville. Enterprise is great for rental cars in my experience, and Hertz is terrible for rental cars in my experience.
Plug. Enterprise, you owe us some money for that.
No, Hertz, you owe us some money for that.
But so
Enterprise is universally pleasant in my experience, and Hertz was universally jacked up in my experience.
Yeah, and so we made a drive from Valdosta to Miami. Got an Airbnb that was not the safest.
I'd forgotten about that place.
We did not feel safe, and we were there for 2 days, I think. The day to go to the embassy,
I didn't book it.
the consulate.
Before you accuse me and judge me for booking my wife into an unsafe place and not taking care of my family, She handled that detail, so it was a place where she was comfortable booking, and we got there, and
It looked okay from the pictures.
Yeah.
It really did. Until you get there and you realize, oh, they kind of like strategically
oh, it was very strategic.
positioned
Yeah,
the stuff.
it was an old motel that had been converted into apartments, and not good ones, and it was. I felt fine, but it was a lot of dogs with spiked collars around,
And doors that felt like they didn't close from the
oh,
inside. There was no.
you had to be real
deadbolt.
careful to throw that door closed really hard to make sure it was all the way closed.
Yeah.
So, but God took care of us. It was all good.
Yeah, and the next day we got to that Airbnb at like after 12 in the night, figured out parking, and then the next morning we were up and headed to the Italian consulate where we needed to pick up like not a traveler's check, what do they call that thing, a mailing order, a standing order?
Money order.
A money order,
At
that's
the
it.
post office.
And get to the consulate by a certain time. I don't remember what time it was. And it was during that day, that period of realizing, we're on time and now we look like we're going to be late. And again, my issues with time coming up. And the Lord.
That time we were good when we left. But the post office that we went to turned out not to be a post office. It was a post office distribution center. That wasn't real clear on Google Maps. And so I looked at it later to say, did I make a mistake? But it actually wasn't very clear. So we had to find another one and go there in time, which took us.
Made it on
it
time.
took us probably an extra 30 minutes to do that. 20 minutes.
Not that much, baby. It took us probably about 10 minutes tops.
No, it was more than 5 minutes there, 5 minutes inside, and 5 minutes back.
We
to the
still
main
made
point.
it.
But we had 45 minutes to spare when we left, and we needed it. We still made it with, I think, 7 minutes.
To spare.
7 minutes early.
Right,
so we were fine.
I think the thing about this though is the Lord used that to really nailing
Jam the point home.
like, Shania, you got issues with time. Are you going to invite me into this? So, and it was that morning that I finally like really admitted that, Lord, these are the thoughts that swirl in my head every single time that I'm late, and to realize, so many of these are connected to how disappointed do I think somebody will be if I'm late, and what I think about myself when I am late, and all that stuff. And man, it's kind of good to finally have that in the open and realize, wow, so that the Lord could redeem that, right? But we got there. It was such a weird process because we got there. It's a beautiful building. Like, I would encourage you walk around the area for the Italian consulate.
Well, that one was fun because right afterwards, when we walked around, we found out we were right above an exotic car, like a supercar dealer, and so we got to see all these McLarens and Ferraris and Porsches and stuff like that. Just fun, and Lamborghinis, and a lot of fun.
Let's continue. Yeah, so Lamborghinis and
So it was fun walking around, but nice building and beautiful lobby, and very, very direct security staff.
Yeah, I like the old lady. She was fun. I got to chat with her a little bit because I heard her speaking what sounded like Spanish, and I'm like, but I thought it's an Italian embassy. And so
But it wasn't.
I actually asked her about it.
It was an Italian consulate.
I actually asked her about it, and she was like, oh yeah, she speaks Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish.
And English.
And English. And it was nice to realize, I'm actually hearing what I'm hearing. I was hearing Spanish. And and thing. But I think what was interesting for you is that for me afterwards was when you came down and you're like, oh, it wasn't an interview. Note, there was one thing about it we didn't realize until the day before, or was it the day off, that we had 2 interviews booked, one for me, one for Jeremy.
We did realize that part.
Yeah. When did we?
But they told us there were some unclear instructions. One website said one thing, and another website said something else, and the email said something a little bit different. And so, like, well, we better go for it. But then they sent us an email explaining that Chanel cannot be on my digital nomad visa application, which was, I don't need a digital nomad visa to go to Italy for 90 days as an American, but we couldn't get her into the country without a visa because the Jamaican passport is a bit different. And so that was the point of the digital nomad visa, was not for me, it was to get her into Italy. And then it turns out the day before that they emailed us confirmation saying, as per the instructions you've read on page 4 or whatever, she can't be on your application. She's either a digital nomad in her own right, or if it's a dependent visa that will be processing her through, you do that in Italy in person. So there have been a lot of things that have felt very in flux. And God just says, okay, do the next step. Okay, do the next step. And then we'll see what happens after that. And just trust God for every bit of it. But it's very hard to plan, which means it's very easy to get in our heads about not knowing the plan. But He's brought us both through a lot of not being able to plan and only being able to do. Yeah. So, all right, let's do. So they collected a bunch of information there.
A bunch of information and a bunch of documents.
Yeah, and Chanel was the star of that because I could not keep all that stuff straight or organized. And so Chanel put together the 3 different packets, the originals packet, the 2 copy packets. And we had a big document box from Dad. And
Thank you, Dad.
I took that
you.
in. And
you're not saying we love you too?
Yeah, I'll love him another time. Not thinking about that document box. I think it's been a lot of work on my knuckles. So I had the.
I had to carry that.
I never did forget. So I had that box with me, like a clear Tupperware tub, and the security guard just looked at me like, "What are you doing? You can't take that upstairs. Grab just your papers and come with me." And so I had to pull out just one of the packets and just carry it loose leaf practically. But Chanel had everything binder clipped and everything, so that was good. I
know it was really strange because they only accepted one, but they told you, maybe we misread the instructions or something, but they told us you needed to do a copy of everything. And you also had to consider when you get to Italy, you also have to have a copy. So we had 2 copies of everything and they only took one.
Yep. Better to have 3 and need 1 than vice versa.
Yeah.
So they just collected my information very quickly and sent me right back downstairs. And they said, okay, we'll spread out on the desk and read everything carefully. And then we'll email you. Everything else will be done through email.
They took his passport too. And the thing is, they told you the only time you're allowed to reach out is if you haven't heard back from them in 90 days?
120 days into the process. If I haven't heard anything, then I'm allowed to start checking on the process.
Yeah. So Jeremy is now stuck in the country until we get back his passport. Fun stuff. But we did a telling consulate.
So, and about that time we found out, because we knew we had enough time for Christmas visit, but I kept bugging her, hey, how long did they approve your stay for this time around in the US? And so about that time we finally checked on it, and it turns out to be June 22nd. So they just gave her the maximum time. So plenty of time to finish the Italian business and us get back out of the country so she stays in full compliance wherever it is that we go next, whether it's God sends us straight to Italy next or whether there's another stop or two in between. We still don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, well, Lord, wherever is wherever. We finished the Italian consulate. We checked out of the Airbnb the following morning.
Went to Tampa, enjoyed
time with Alex and Sharon.
She got to meet my dear friends and former employers, Alex and Sharon Slensky, and that was a delightful time.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you
there
for
was a
hosting us.
flamingo in the backyard. I took a picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a flamingo statue.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
a flamingo, nonetheless. It's two different things.
It's less. It's definitely less, but it was a good flamingo statue.
It was beautiful.
And then we came over to Orlando.
But before we even got to Orlando, it was kind of like, all right, Lord, where to next? And he, every time I prayed it, he's like, I gave Jeremy the answer.
Yeah, that was hard for you.
I was like, oh my God, Lord, you mean you're telling my husband things that you're not telling me anymore? I have to go to England to get, but yeah, but it's just like, gosh. And so Jeremy
that's
had
a little
already...
nerve-wracking for me sometimes because I'll say, honey, what do you want to do for this? She said, I've been praying about that, and God said, you know the answer already. I'm like, I do? Oh. Well, if he says I know the answer, then I do, but man, Lord, did I forget the answer? Did you tell me the answer and I forgot? Or what's going on here?
Because we were wondering about, do we stay in Tampa longer?
Right.
And it
Where
was
are we
really
supposed to be?
interesting that a couple of days before we left Mom and Dad, you started to talk about Orlando. And I'm like, what is in Orlando? Right? And so
Neither of us wanted to be in Miami. We don't like Miami.
We don't like Miami. And so we left Alex. We were supposed to be at Alex and Sharon's for like a night.
They invited us to stay for an extra night.
For an extra night. And then the next day we left for Orlando. Booked.
It was the extended stay hotel there.
Yeah, so we dropped off the rental car at the airport. Got
Right, just barely in time after extending our
rental.
Our drop-off time by 2 days. Yeah.
And then we got a lift to take us to
the hotel.
To the hotel.
We stayed there for a week and a half. And I ended up going to Podfest Expo, which was a bunch of podcasters. 2,500 podcasters, and met a bunch of cool people, made a couple friends.
And what was also interesting is that as we're approaching the end of that first week, because we had booked for the hotel for like a week, we're asking, all right, Lord, what do we do? Like, because we don't know, are we going to be here for another week? What is supposed to be happening? And we had just heard back from the Italian embassy consulate to let them know that, hey, we have another batch of documents that you all need to send to us. And so forth. So we're trying to figure out, all right, Lord, what do we do here? And again, it was kind of like, Jeremy, I already know the answer. I told him. I'm like, okay. And so the decision was made, you know what? It's to stay in Orlando for a month.
Yeah.
And so we started to look like, where do we even look?
We don't want to be
term?
going across the country to Vegas or something like that. And we didn't feel like we were supposed to go back to Barwick. and be hanging out with the Thomasville crowd. Just a bunch of real shady characters around there. That's my childhood. All the Barwick and Thomasville folks. And didn't feel like we were supposed to go back to the Asheville, North Carolina area either.
Mm-hmm.
And so Orlando was it. Keep us relatively close to Miami if we have to go back. It was the original idea, but it turns out they don't need us to go back. They just want us to mail things if we mail things. So anyway.
Yeah.
Orlando.
So Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, well, how do we even find a short-term stay place in Orlando? And we started doing some Google and using Perplexity to like, okay, where do we go? How do we go about that? I think we found like 3 different sites.
Airbnbs are pretty miserable when you're talking about medium-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
$100 a night stay even turns into a $3,000 a month in rent, which just irks us. And so we ended up on Facebook Marketplace and found this place that we're in now, and we love it.
Yeah, Arlene is amazing.
Arlene's great.
Yeah.
Arlene and Larry have been solid landlords and very kind people. We really enjoy them. And so finding long-term rentals on Facebook Marketplace is kind of tricky as well because, I mean, most places are not furnished.
It wasn't.
And so this place has all the furniture, all the pots and pans. Everything.
But there's something about this too, because when we were heading down to Miami, the Lord said to me, do not forget the desire that you and Jeremy have. He has asked us a lot, like, what do you want? Like,
he has.
Like, what do you
kind
want?
Of intimidating.
Like, be honest about it. What do you want? But so he said to me, like, don't forget the desire that you and Jeremy has to be a place of rest for others. And so it was like, don't be looking for 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom houses. Right.
This needs to be at least a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. That was the criteria, and a place where we can cook. Because whether we're having somebody over to rest for a meal or whether it's over to rest for a night, we need to be in a place where we can fulfill our hospitality mission.
Yeah. And so forth. And so even looking on Facebook Marketplace, it was kind of like, well, Lord, this is what we're looking for. This is what we desire.
Yeah.
And man, this place checked the boxes.
We've been able to have 2 friends since then, and
2 sets of friends, because one was 2 people, so we have had 3 people, and we've been here for like 2 weeks.
One was 2 people?
Yeah, one set, one.
Who was that?
Hi, Canadian friends.
Oh! Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Adam and Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And then Tracy, and then Larry.
We had Tracy? I didn't remember we had Tracy here.
Oh, I guess
Tracy was at the
previously.
extended stay.
That was before we got here. You're right.
Yeah.
So then, so we'll be able to have coffee with the church folks. We went to church.
But before we get to
Sunday.
church, baby, there's one thing I do want to point out, because the day we left the extended stay, man, when you talk about releasing control, you talk about releasing control. Because the day we checked out of our hotel thinking that we were going to be meeting up with Arlene to get the keys to move in here. And so
Arlene and I miscommunicated.
We didn't know the morning, because we spoke to Arlene the Tuesday. We knew for a fact that we needed to check out the Wednesday, because the Monday morning I was in Bible study with my friend, and the Lord said to me, pack, you're leaving on Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, we're packing. Right? Mm-hmm. And we spoke to Arlene the Tuesday because Arlene, when we spoke to her, she was, indicating that the place wouldn't be ready for us to move in until the Wednesday, and
Until
the Friday,
Friday.
not the Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And we were asking,
And so we worked.
possible?
So we worked out those kinks and got it worked out for Wednesday.
We thought we did. We got it worked out.
And then
for
we
Wednesday.
and then we got here and
We-
we did not have it worked out for Wednesday.
Because we didn't, honestly, she said she would check. She would check and get back to us. And then the Wednesday morning, we needed to check out, I think, by 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And she sent us a message. We tried to call her. She sent us a message.
The text message I got back, I understood that as being good to go for Wednesday. Not just good to go in general, but good to go for Wednesday. That is not what she meant.
And so we checked out. We headed. This was my first time taking the bus.
Yeah, that was
the
fun.
States,
Mhm.
and so with
Orlando
four-
bus system is great. I am not usually a bus fan, but I like the Orlando buses.
4 suitcases between us.
And the dock box.
The dock box and 2 knapsacks.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole bunch of Walmart bags tied to the suitcases, and us on
That for
2 buses.
because we had a skillet that we bought.
And some groceries
And
that we're carrying.
a couple little frozen groceries, yeah. So we went by
But even before we got there, there's something else I want to touch on, because we're talking a lot about trusting God, and this is something that the Lord is teaching me. He cares very much about my desires. He cares about the things that worry me. He cares very much about my needs and so forth. When we're leaving the water, I wanted to take the bottles of water with me because I was very deeply concerned that where we went, because I have a very sensitive taste.
She wanted me
to take the water.
to carry, not to take, to carry a case of water with us.
Yes, because I was worried that wherever we went, I wouldn't like the water, and I would get thirsty and everything. And so Jeremy was like, he feels.
We had a 56-pound suitcase, a 63-pound suitcase, a 22-pound suitcase, a 19-pound suitcase, 2 knapsacks full of computers, the document box full of paper, groceries. And so I made the executive decision, honey, we're leaving the water. We're donating the water to the front desk here at the hotel.
And I eventually bought in. In fact, I was planning to carry just a 1-gallon bottle, and I forgot it. And it was kind of obviously I meant to leave it. So we went on this grand tour, Orlando buses, with all of this stuff. We got to, at the time we didn't even have the address for the place yet. We got the address while we were on the bus. So we literally got on the bus with the idea, with knowing that, we need to go to the Spectrum store that was very close to where
to get cable internet.
To get
hooked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was our destination. We got the address on the way to the Spectrum store. We get to the Spectrum store, then what happens?
And we had the address to use.
Yes.
So that was great. They got us scheduled. It was going to be for the next day. I don't remember. We got it scheduled, and
that was when you learned.
Oh, that was when we learned. Arlene said, "Yeah, I can have somebody there." Have somebody there?
We're planning to be there.
Yeah. What about us there? Oh, honey, no, that's for Friday. Oh my.
And so here we are in a Spectrum store with our suitcases, our bags, with no idea where to go next.
Well, we didn't have a place to go next. So we ended up back on Airbnb for 2 nights.
Yeah, but before we got to the Airbnb thing, it was kind of all right, Lord. One of the things I have to keep pointing out is, for me, is a year ago, being in a situation like this, I would have been so anxious. I was cranky because I was tired. I was cranky because I was just full and exhausted. But it wasn't because I was anxious about, oh Lord, we're here, we're going to next, etc., etc. We knew one of the reasons why we wanted to get into a set place settled before the Thursday was because you and I both had a meeting coming up at the same time. I also had the Pink Flamingo Club in the evening, and I wanted to be in a space where you didn't have to leave the room. Or
we couldn't do what we needed to do in the studio for the extended stay.
Yeah. And so we went on Airbnb looking for a place, and it's kind of like, oh, my
and found
brain.
A delightful place that was 6 blocks from here.
I don't remember.
That.
Something
it's not
like
far at all.
Right, but it was. I remember when we tried to book it, you found it. I was thinking, oh, the price, but I felt like follow his lead around this. So we booked it. We tried to book it, and we got a note. Oh, the owner, the host, has to approve this before you're even allowed to make a payment. And it said that typically they don't respond until 3 hours. And I'm like, there's no way they're gonna get a responding time. Let's keep looking.
Because at this point we're pretty exhausted.
This is like after almost 3 o'clock now.
Yeah, we've carried suitcase. We've finished packing, carried suitcases to the bus, transferred buses, waited for forever at Spectrum.
Walked all the way up, did almost a 20-minute walk.
From the bus to Spectrum that was probably a 20-minute walk with all those suitcases. And I didn't drop anything, so I was grateful for that.
Yeah. And we're now sitting in the Spectrum store trying to sort out where are we sleeping at night.
Yeah.
And knowing even on top of that,
we need a place to be 2 hours from right now, not respond to us within 4 hours.
Yeah. And so we started looking elsewhere, and as we're looking elsewhere, I got the nudge, check Airbnb. I actually canceled the booking request before. I got the nudge, check Airbnb. And when I checked, the lady had responded. Why am I forgetting her name? Juliana. She had responded to let us know that they would be happy to host us. I just need to rebook the reservation so she can approve it. And so I did. And
then we took a delightful lift over there.
Where we did Aldi's because we needed groceries. And Aldi's was Aldi. Mm-hmm. It was next door to the Spectrum because we needed food for 2 days now. Mm-hmm. We needed food for the 2 days, and then we got a lift.
Mm-hmm. And got to meet a delightful lady who was very kind and very helpful.
Yeah, she even helped us unload our stuff.
Got to minister to her.
Wow,
mm-hmm. That was really nice.
And then we got to the Airbnb, and I did not even know what to expect. At this point, I was just happy to have a place. And we got there and realized, we had a place where Jeremy could have his meeting. I could have my meeting without us being in the same region. They had a fully equipped kitchen with a dining room table and everything. And it was really, really nice. And
there's living room, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, living room, kitchen. Yeah.
It was really, really nice. And I remember feeling the next morning, feeling so thankful for it. Mm-hmm. And as I was pondering it, the Lord said to me, there are a lot of people who are asking for the things that they desire, and He wants to give it to them. But the reason that they don't get it is because they look at the price tag and said, no, I can't.
I won't even ask.
I won't even ask.
I won't ask in faith. I won't ask and mean it. I won't ask and truly let myself want it or be honest about it to God.
Or even if I see it and I realize what the price tag is like, oh no, it's outside of my budget. And He's like, that's a control thing because you're trying to manage how you'll get the resources to do the thing that I want to give you instead of allowing me. to make the way available for that.
Part of the stewardship that we've been learning with this phase is being willing to deploy God's resources in ways that might seem extravagant or wasteful if it were my limited resources and I weren't getting any more. And that's been a very humbling thing to learn. Like, if he has the cattle on 1,000 hills and he wants to give to us and he's abundant, then what does abundance look like without being wasteful? What is abundant and not wasteful at the same time? And I've had to build vision of what that even means, because I was kind of equating the two in my head a lot of times previously, and
abundance and stewardship. And on the
abundant
flip
stewardship.
side,
Yeah.
on the flip side, for me, it's been, I thought stewardship was it's not maximize, that's not the word.
Optimizing.
Was optimizing and not spending on things that
weren't absolutely necessary.
Absolutely necessary. Like stretching the dollar
I
all the way
think it's
to
the
make it
same.
last.
It's the same for both of us, because coming out of the cheapskate era, that was tough for me. And yeah.
Yeah, and so there are things that the Lord has said to us, pay for this or do this. And we're like, but God, you do realize that if we do this, this will probably cause an issue.
One big thing that has come out of that is he's shown us the joy of giving extravagantly from the giving budget, the tithe and giving budget. And that budget, we never have any stress over that budget. We pray about where we should give, and he tells us, and it is joyful. It's the most fun part of the budget to spend.
Yeah.
And I had a little thing at one point, because we'll buy people's meals out of that. And I was wondering, is it okay to pay for someone's meal out of that budget when we eat the meal with them? I mean, I know we're not putting our part of the meal into the tithe and giving budget. That would be beyond the pale. But we benefit directly from their company when we're buying them a meal. So how is that, Lord? I'm feeling a little Ananias and Sapphira here. Like, am I playing games with your money here? And he used Chaniel to, as soon as I brought it up, she said, honey, we get blessed every time we give from that budget. There is no such thing as not receiving a blessing back whenever we spend money from that budget.
Giving is receiving. Receiving is giving.
That was really powerful for me. And it helped me reset my head around that, but also around the other percentage of our budget is God's as well. Mm-hmm. Every percentage of this is God's. Every percentage of that is God's. All our time, every finger on our hands. We don't get to choose one finger and this one's yours, God. If all good things are from Christ, then all good things are from Christ. Let's not water down the language just because we can't see our way through a metaphor. Like, can you take it literally? Take it literally. Mm-hmm. So if all of our budget is from Christ, we treat it all like it's his money.
Yep.
We deploy it
the way he tells
us to, the entire budget, and then total guilt-free around it.
And it's been really interesting getting to that point where we're praying, Lord, is this the right decision to make here? Like, show us. Yeah. Like, instead of doing like, oh, this seems like a good decision. Like, what is the God? Like,
instead of do we have budget for it? It's, Lord, do you want us to do this thing? If so, which version of this thing do you want us to do? Now, okay, if you want us to do it, then here's the budget that's being asked for. Mm-hmm. we need that budget.
Yeah.
And he provides every time.
Yeah. And so, man, I think we've shared a whole lot. Well, this is kind of like catching you
For
guys
an hour
up.
and a half.
Yeah. This is kind of like catching you guys up on
Since December 14th?
since about December 14th. And guess, I just realized you said December 14th, and our 1 year anniversary is coming up. So
On February 15th.
we turn 1 on February 15th, and we're going to
Be experts in marriage.
I was thinking more about the fact that I'm excited that we're going
I know.
to this. This is my first time doing anything around the Disney World, Disneyland, Disney thingy, whatever it is.
We had a friend over from like an old childhood acquaintance. 81 years old. He's still working at Disney and loving it. He's retired, but he still works at Disney because he loves doing it. And he invited us to come with him on our anniversary. So this Sunday we get to go to the Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
And for the first time. Oh, and I just realized you started talking about Sunday. What happened on Sunday?
This last Sunday.
Last Sunday. So we went to church for the first time in Orlando, and it all started with me waking from a dream the Saturday. Like you had mentioned the Friday night that, baby, let's go to church.
God's made it very plain to us. Don't wait for a long period of time to get plugged in. Don't let it happen gradually. If you're going to be moving around a lot, you need to get plugged in fast and into the right communities that I have for you.
Yeah. And so I woke from a dream this Saturday morning where I was I was in a church ministering to a young man. And I felt the Lord said to me really strongly, find a church to go to on Sunday. He brought up what you had said to me on Friday night, and it's like, find a church to go to. And I'm like, Lord, but how do we find a church? We're in Orlando. I don't know anywhere in Orlando. And my automatic thinking was to find the church closest to us. But he said to me, go on Google Maps and put in churches. I did. The first church that I looked at I was like, okay, that looks cool.
Maybe.
We could do it. And he said to me strongly, not that one. And then I looked at the second one and he said that. Funny enough, the name of the church is Here Church. Here Church. And so I was like, I looked at it and I'm like, sure? And he's like, yeah, that one. And in fact, when I tried to change the filter on the search to say, but because we saw I was like 16 miles away. No, I struggle with distances in terms of understanding the concept of distance. But 16 miles sound a lot. And I'm like, God.
It's a 20-minute Uber.
Do you really want me to tell Jeremy that we're going to go to a church 16 miles away? Like, isn't there anything closer that we can go to? I mean, it's just going to church. And so I changed the filter to show churches by distance. And he said to me, don't even bother looking at them. You're going to the church I just said to you. And so I told you.
It was so nice that she was able to tell me with confidence, God told me this church. I was like, oh, let's do it.
Yeah. You arrange for things to make it happen. We took the bus and it was fun. Never thought I'd see the day when I'm saying the bus was fun. But we got there and it was...
I had fun on the Jamaican buses that once. But Jamaican buses would not normally be a fun experience for me. No.
But we got there. And
Jamaican buses are fine as long as you get to take a shower the instant you get home. You are grimy when you get off of the Jamaican bus system.
Because they pack you like sardines.
Yes.
And
And you all smell like sardines when you're done. Yeah.
But we got there, and the thing that really surprised me about being in that space
it's a new church plant.
It's a new church.
They're in a school and they're setting up and tearing down right before and right after service.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before.
Oh.
And all the churches that have been here in the States and the churches that I have attended over the years were more established churches. And seeing that was like a wonder for me as I think about, the Pink Flamingo University and the Pink Flamingo Club, and a club that falls under the university, and what the vision that I have around it should look like what the early church was like, and that, you know, friends sitting over coffee or sitting together, having shared language and shared tools to like navigate life together. And so seeing that was like, oh, this is kind of like a picture of what I am hoping and dreaming for about my community. And being able to take that in, it was so special, like to see that the intimacy, the word that came to mind for me was sacred. Such a sacred space. And how easy it is that as churches grow, it becomes very easy to lose that if you don't recognize and value what that thing is. And so
culture is built.
yeah, and so during service, during praise and worship, the Lord started to talk to me about not started to talk to me about seed and baby plants, and how a lot of times, because we had the vision of what the plant can be when it's fully grown, we tend to not delight so much in the baby plant itself. And he's like, that season of the plant is such a special thing. And he was talking to me specifically about my community because, you know, I've been working in the Pink Flamingo University since the end of May last year, and there has been a part of my heart that has been grieved and disappointed, like, God, why isn't this growing faster? I want more. And he was talking to me very heavily as I sat there, like, she told me, Chanel, write. So I sat down and I was writing, and he was just talking to me about, do you understand the sacredness of what is here? No, like the light in the here and now, like don't miss that.
You said
right?
Don't despise it.
And don't despise it, there's it. And you know, I was feeling very repentant because I started to just reflect on all the miracles and all the testimonies I've seen happen in that space with the people that are within that space right now. I mean, you have people coming back to Christ. You have people coming to Christ for the first time. And that was not something I envisioned happening when I started the community. I went into the community to teach people how to have the practical, like give people the practical tools and strategies for recovering from people pleasing, but by focusing on their Christ, their God-given identity. And you see that happening, right? You have relationships that have been stuck for years becoming unstuck and stuff. And so as I'm reflecting on that, you know, my heart was so full. And then the Lord said to me, that same message I just gave you, give the pastor. And I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, God, I'm new here. I don't want to. But I shared it, and it was a timely message.
I checked with her. I asked her a couple times. I said, you found the dude yet? And the second time I asked, she said, yep, that's the pastor. I said, you sure? Because I'm accustomed to seeing people like try and suck up to leadership a lot of times. And so for just a second, I was like, double check.
Yeah.
And she said, yep, God says he's the one.
He's the one.
And I'm like, all right, cool.
Right?
Go for it.
And I think even in top of that, like, I came out, like, when I left the church, the physical church, and so forth, a big part of that story for me was trying to suck up to leadership. And the Lord has had to, like, redeem that, because there was so much things I had around leadership and what leadership meant in the church and all of that stuff. And so I'm like, God, I don't want to be saying anything to pastors. Like, I don't even want to go down that road any at all, right? But he said, you need to say it to that guy. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so I went and I told him, and he's like, it was a very timely thing. It was what
he and his wife both confirmed the word
they needed, and so forth. And so that was such a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it healed something in me I didn't even know needed healing. Just
Yeah.
having that experience.
Yeah.
And thing. But
it was a powerful service for me as well. God was showing me the most fun thing for us, and joyful, yes, delightful, yes, but fun, meaningful, sure, but fun thing for both of us in our communities. For me, the Voyage, and for her, Pink Flamingo Club or Pink Flamingo University, is people coming to Christ and people giving over and honestly, earnestly seeking God and seeking to be in relationship with God, not just to seek what does he tell us to do so I can perform it, but seeking relationship. There's nothing better than that. And we're both getting to see that in our online communities. And so he was showing me, if that's what you care about, why are you not praying without ceasing by name for all of your people, for vision, identity, beliefs, execution? That's our 4 pillars for the Voyage. And why are you not praying that they be filled with godly vision? That I fill them with godly identity, with godly beliefs, with executing on godly things in godly ways. And it hit me really hard and just made me realize how much more leverage there is in the Voyage for serving my people fully. And it's not through any kind of user experience. I mean, there's no kind of, user interface or user experience that will improve my people's lives as much as prayer will. And it was really powerful. So thank you, TJ and Jen, and everybody else at
Here Church.
At Here Church for that.
You've blessed us.
It's a powerful message.
Immensely.
Very much.
Around that. I think we're wrapping up now because it's time to go eat. What are we believing for? What are we gonna ask for people to pray with us around? I know definitely the house in Italy, like us being able to find.
We have to have a rental place under contract in Italy before a digital nomad visa will be granted. That's one of the biggest things, is that we find the right place.
Yeah.
And that
and favor around that place too.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting. A lot of the Italian places are like asking for like 3 months in rent.
It is common to, in order to move into a place in Italy, to be out 5 months worth of rent. So, and I've double checked that in 3 different places. Is this normal? And yep, 4 to 6 months is pretty normal. So way bigger numbers than we were thinking. If it's a $2,000 a month place, then, well, can we go smaller? Not and host, not and be hospitable, not and have guests. Well, can we go cheaper? Not and be safe, not and be hospitable. And so about the cheapest places that we've seen so far are around that $2,000 a month mark. And,
for US?
Yep.
Didn't we see something for like 1,130 euros yesterday?
We saw something, but I don't remember if that was
She
the
was
place
the
that
one,
we're looking at.
Varnick
So
was the one who said to us it's it's not available anymore.
Right. So we haven't found our place yet over there, and we still don't know what region of Italy that we're supposed to be in, and we have to search by region. You can't search all of Italy. And so talking to our friend Valentina about finding a spot. She was the one originally who said, the place is yours, you can stay at my place. That's not sufficient for digital nomad visa. That's sufficient for a visit, and for short-term visas for Chanel, but not for digital nomad visa. And so we've got work to do on that.
And in a very short time too.
Very fast work. The deadlines are counting down for the processing of the digital nomad visa. So there's that. Favor with the Italian authorities. Everywhere I look, it's comments like the famously intricate Italian bureaucracy. Like, that is not what I had hoped to hear.
Yeah, I'm also praying.
Should we be in another spot before we both end up in Italy?
And where? So clear discernment.
Where is that spot? A quick turnaround so that we are not apart for long. When I go over to Italy to do the application for her to be with me, we're seeing some information that a family reunification visa, I don't know if this applies to digital nomad or not, but that it's possible to, like, some of the information says they'll consider it once you've been apart for 2 years. I'm like, Italy's not happening. Like, that's not what it's about for me then, if we have to be apart for 2 years. So how do we get Chanel over there?
Very fast.
And I don't even care if it's very fast. She wants to be there by her birthday.
Oh yeah, that's the date. So my birthday is April.
We want for us to both be in Italy by her birthday. So there's that time frame. We don't want to be apart for long at all. I could handle a couple of weeks. I can handle whatever God says to handle, but I do not feel like we are called to be apart for a long time. What else are we praying believing for?
I want to add this. We're praying for funding for both our communities.
Yeah.
Like the Lord told us to do a budget at the beginning of the year. We did the budgets, and now it's kind of like, all right, Lord, we're praying for the same way you provided Moses with the vision. And then you
the
give
people, and then the materials
and the resources. We're praying and we're believing for those people, the right people and the right resources to pull the vision forward that the God has given to us as individuals, and stuff.
We've been doing a lot of work to make these businesses and, turns out, ministries into something that's scalable and that can use funds well and quickly.
Yeah.
So that's something we're now praying for. Is okay, we know the numbers, and now we need that funding. If you want us to follow this plan that we have on paper, that we feel like you told us to do, we don't know the reasons that God's told us to do it quite that way. It may be something very oddball that we're not expecting, but it'll be what we're expecting or something better.
Yeah,
we trust Him on that.
But I mean, we have seen the fruit of it, and it's, man, I'm excited.
Which fruit?
Like the fruit of the communities.
Oh, the communities themselves. Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
it's been shocking
personally
and
excited about the communities themselves and what that enables us to do, even from like a non-profit standpoint and all that stuff. Like
everything.
There's so much, right? So pray with us around that. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we would love for people to be praying with us around? No.
Well, the baby.
Oh, shut up! No.
No.
Take that back.
There's no baby yet. No.
Yeah.
That'll be a while.
Yeah, we're not doing baby while we're traveling.
No.
It ain't gonna happen.
That's not the plan.
Not unless God says otherwise, and I'm really praying. Pray with me that He doesn't.
We really like to travel alone. Yeah.
We don't want to add a baby to the suitcase.
I was about to say, we thought 2.5 suitcases apiece was difficult. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but
okay.
I think that's it from us then. We love you both. We both love y'all. Thank you for walking this journey with us. It's been a blessing to be reminded of these things as we share them. And so forth, and just keep us in your prayers.
That means prayers.
Yeah.
In Jamaican.
We love you, and we are going to go eat.